Nothing complicated. I clip in, and now I'm good to go. And again, the cool thing about a strap is I can stand if I want to. I don't have to worry about holding onto the guitar. There's no extra device I have to carry around with me. It's just always on the instrument. Today's video is brought to you by Classical Guitar Pro. That's my brand new online classical guitar course, which is 6 hours, 53 videos. It's a whole curriculum designed to teach you what you would normally learn in the first 6 months to a year of classical guitar lessons. So if you want to learn classical guitar but are stuck, struggling reading music or struggling to learn the techniques, check out classicalguitar-pro.com to learn more. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm joined again by expert luthier Marshall Brune. Hey Marshall.
Hey Brandon, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you again. We definitely didn't film 2 videos in one day.
No, not at all.
No.
Never.
We always wear the same clothes. I'm here today at Marshall's shop because I am ready to put a strap onto another one of my classical guitars, and to do that you have to put a strap button on the bottom. That requires a little bit of drilling, and while I was contemplating drilling into my guitar, I thought better take it to an expert. He'll tell us how to do it the right way. Now, a strap on a classical guitar is basically a thing that today I think a lot of guitarists are afraid of. They think they're not supposed to do that on a classical guitar. They think it's not traditional. Well, let me tell you, a strap is a valid and historical way of playing the guitar, and there's no reason why you shouldn't do it. Today we're going to learn how to put a strap button on, and then perhaps a lot of you can give this a go. So, Marshall, I have some questions for you right off the bat.
All right, I've got answers. Let's see if we match.
Here we go. The first thing that happens when I bring up a strap to classical guitarists is they say, hey, I have a $5,000 guitar. I'm not drilling into that guitar. They're worried about, I think, the strap button diminishing the value of the instrument. Should guitarists be worried about that?
No, not at all. I mean, if you're drilling into something that's, say, not a historical guitar, meaning let's call it $35,000.
So probably not that Hauser we played in the last video.
No, that is kind of where I draw the line.
Okay.
That said, you know, I have ways of filling it and making it look like you never had a strap button in there.
Okay.
But I have drilled into, up to $25,000 guitars at the express understanding and request of the customer. I don't just do it to idly while away a Saturday.
Right. Okay, but so they shouldn't be afraid of adding a strap button.
Absolutely not. I've got a beautiful 67 Manuel de la Chica that I installed a strap button in, and that's easily a $9,000 guitar.
Well,
and
there we go.
If it increases your functionality and usability and playability, it should be done.
Okay. By
a qualified person.
So that was my next question is, should they do it themselves?
You only get one chance. How lucky do you feel? And I believe I said that to you when we talked about this.
I was like drill in hand, ready to drill into my guitar, and I was like, I probably should call Marshall, and he goes, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I expect it to be fairly straightforward, and generally it's a pretty easy thing to do. The parts are not expensive. It's not difficult. But there are things that can go wrong, and you don't want to do that because then it gets expensive. Messing up something is a lot more difficult than messing it up.
Well said.
Thank you.
So in this first part of the video here, we're going to go into Marshall's shop, and he's going to teach us how to properly install a strap button into a guitar. But as he recommends, probably take it to an expert. And then once we have the strap button on, we're going to talk about choosing a strap and also how to get the strap to attach to the headstock and kind of getting set up in my preferred way of holding a classical guitar. But let's start by heading over to the shop.
All right, let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to install the end pin. We're going to need a few tools. We need a ruler, preferably in metric, just because it's easier to subdivide. We're going to need a hammer, because we need a hammer. We need an awl, or something sharp to get it started with. We're going to need a drill bit that fits perfectly. So this is a 7/64 drill bit. Don't take my word for it, measure your own so you don't mess it up. We're going to need a screwdriver and a drill. I've got a little notch in my bench, which I like to use with padding on both sides. I'm going to measure from along the center line of this guitar. So I'm going to measure very carefully, 93 millimeters. So that means that I am going to have to make a mark at 46.5 millimeters. Reach for your ill-placed tool because it's never exactly where you want it to be. we say 46.5. And before you lock it in, make sure it's visually about where you want it to be. Okay, and then we're gonna just take our hammer and very carefully give it a little tap. Don't go too hard, and make sure that is exactly where you want it to be, because we have now crossed the point of no return. Now, some places will say to put a piece of tape over this. That really depends on the finish of your guitar. This is a finish where I don't anticipate any chipping, so I'm not going to put any tape over it. So now I'm going to again visually center it this way and this way to make sure that I'm running perfectly square, and then just very slowly go in like that. We can take our end pin. I like to start it by hand, just to make sure it's not going to be too tight and bind. I like a what's called a precision screwdriver, where it's got a movable handle on the top, where I can push down with my palm and install the end strap right into the guitar. Making sure that you have the grommet on here, because these do rattle from time to time, so I'm not a big fan of that. So use the grommet. It will make your life a lot easier. Snug it down like that. Now it's installed.
Thank you, Marshall.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm now back at Marshall's shop some weeks later. I have chosen a strap and fitted it to my guitar, and I wanted to tell you a bit more about how I did this. Since we already had our strap button installed safely by an expert, then the next step was to pick out a strap. I just ordered a strap online. I found one that I thought was quite beautiful. It kind of matched the flame maple, kind of a yellowish gold color, a bit of a kind of Baroque pattern, nice little fabric. This is just a standard guitar strap. There's nothing special about it. I like the standard straps because they're adjustable, and they're really easy. The end has leather, and they really fit well on the end pin, and they're not going to come off. So you choose the strap that you think best represents your personality, but I thought this went well with my guitar and looks quite beautiful and a bit Baroque. Putting the strap around the end button is self-explanatory. This is just, put the end pin around the button around the leather strap. The leather strap can be a bit rigid when you first get it, so you have to kind of force it on, but it'll get there, and once you get there, it's really not going to go anywhere. Then on this side, this is the part for classical guitars or acoustic guitars that takes some creativity. Normally this side would also attach to a button installed on an electric guitar, usually here. The strap would go from this side to here. But on classical guitars, I didn't want to put a button here, so what I do is I just attach it to the headstock, which works really well, and there are a number of ways you can do that. The cheapest and easiest way has to be the shoestring method. So you can just take any shoestring, you lace it through the end of the strap, and then you just simply tie it around the headstock. You could put it under the strings right here at the headstock, just above the nut. You could also tie it just around the whole side of the headstock so it doesn't block any tuners, or you can do what I did here and kind of tie it around the middle portion of the headstock. Now in the past I've just done the shoestring method, but I found this nice little clip by D'Addario, so it's an easy release clip. I can just clip this on and off whenever I want, and that's an easy way to take the strap off. I just leave mine on, so this little end attaches to the headstock. Again, I just tied it around, nothing complicated. I clip in, and now I'm good to go. And again, the cool thing about a strap is I can stand if I want to. I don't have to worry about holding onto the guitar. There's no extra device I have to carry around with me. It's just always on the instrument. And personally, I find the strap very comfortable. You have to make sure you adjust it correctly. Obviously, if it's too loose, that's no good. I'm actually wearing mine quite high, so the guitar is on the right thigh here. And then I kind of have the instrument at a 45-degree angle. The tip of the headstock is around my eye level here. And then the guitar itself is high enough so that the sound hole is kind of right at my sternum. So I think this is a great solution. There's one downfall with the strap, which is when you let go, this can happen, right? So if the instrument's not very tight, it kind of falls, and I have to use my arm weight to hold the instrument up, or use some muscles in my back to hold it still. This isn't good. For classical guitar tension is the enemy. We want to be as loose as possible so we can concentrate our motions, our movements on what actually needs to be done. Economy of motion is a good phrase, right? We want to be moving as little as possible. So I'm going to show you a trick which is going to really make the strap work even better. And I learned this from playing the lute, actually. So all you do is you take some type of string, ribbon, fabric. I have here just some fabric I got at the fabric store, kind of a Baroque pattern that I was using on my lute, actually. I just kind of tied this around my lute. But any type of fabric or kind of thick string will work. Basically what we're going to do, this is too long, but you know, it'll work. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put this around the strap here. So I just looped it once around the bottom of my strap. And then I'm going to take this long end now, and all I'm going to do is sit on it. And when I sit on it, what happens is the instrument gets perfectly balanced. So it's a butt strap, really. So the strap, you can make it really short. I would keep it maybe something like this long. You just tie it around the strap once or loop it around. And then, yeah, all you do is you grab the end and you sit on it. And that kind of pinches the guitar so that when you let go, look, it doesn't move at all. I can even rotate my body and the guitar is exactly where I want it to be, which means, again, now that it's right precisely where I want it, I can focus my energy on just playing as smoothly and elegantly as possible.